the narrative that's been presented out here is that you were directly involved with a meeting that led to that option being put on an agenda. You are listening to Not on the Payroll right here at notonthepayroll.com. You can check us out at Facebook, check us out at YouTube, check us out at Rumble. We've got the privilege this morning of sitting down and talking to Newton County Sheriff Robert Burby. Actually, Sheriff, we're out here at your horse camp.
Yeah, we're here at the horse camp, Newton County Summer Horse Camp. This is week number 2. We are out here with a few kids, and we're enjoying the sunlight. We have I don't know if you saw it. It's an equine therapy type of program. Will give kids build their self-esteem and confidence and responsibility on caring for animals and seeing animals, horses, in their natural habitat insofar as the things their need and the things that you have to do to take care of them. I want to thank all the volunteers, the sponsors, who contributed and made this possible. We're in partnership with the Regional Juvenile Probation Office. It's Jasper, Angelina County, Sabine County, and Newton. Mr. Clark and Mr. Barnes. And this is a program that I first became aware of last year over in Jasper at Champion Oaks Ranch, who provide the horses and the instruction to the kids. This is, like I said, our second week, and we have various activities here. And just to say a few, we have equine therapy for the kids. We have 2 stationed over there. We have tie-dye t-shirts done by Grace Church, who provide the food and preparing the food for us during our camp sessions. We have basic first aid today, and we have devotion from religious leaders across the county. We also had Burkeville and Trop Creek Volunteer Fire Department. I want to thank those personnel for coming in, and on Friday, which was Family Day and First Responders Appreciation Luncheon, that we had folks come in and eat. Hopefully, we will have the air flight this Friday. That we was going to have them in last Friday, but weather. The helicopter wasn't able to fly. So just a lot of different activities. We have archery out there, which is going to be our next station. And one of the things, like I said earlier, is that it gets the kids away from those phones and out to interacting with one another, which is something they don't do a whole lot in the summer. And this is a pilot program, basic foundation for a lot of different youth programs that we have planned for the future.
So tell me this, how does the, where it says equine therapy, walk us through what that looks like, where the kids come. I mean, you know, obviously whenever I showed up over there, you had a number of kids that's actually in the holding area with the horses. How does that work?
Well, what the trainers was doing, they was explaining to them the concept about how horses view you as a person and their vision, and some of the do's and don'ts insofar as handling the horses and being close to them, and how to walk around horses, and also how to tie. You know, we're going to be, one day it's going to be tying, how to tie ropes and everything, and lead horses as well. And the last day, they would get a chance to do a ride around the arena, control ride. You know. So.
Now you actually have you have an archery set up over here. With you talking about this being a pilot program, obviously, you know, pilots normally start small and they grow into much bigger endeavors. You know, beyond archery and things like that, obviously the equine therapy and whatnot, the overall goal is to get this to where this is an actual summer camp of sorts that kids can kind of count on.
Right. And we're not going to try to duplicate other camps. This is going to be unique in its own manner. And the sky's the limit. I'm looking at a lot of different things. We're still early on. We're taking notes. I'm taking notes, which I always do, on some of the things that we're doing. One of my philosophies is to get this identify kids who need that confidence building.
Yeah.
And give them what they need to get that done.
Right.
Give them that what they need to be better communicators. Because most kids are quiet. They don't do a lot of talking. They hold a lot of things in, and we want to be able to open those lines of communications.
So basically, utilizing this camp as a way of giving the kids more tools to work with.
Yeah, more tools to deal with their problems of life. Because life has so many problems, and they never stop, no matter how old you get. And everything but it's how you handle them, which defines what kind of person you are and your character.
Yeah.
So we're trying to give them as many tools as possible to be able to work those issues when they arise.
It's interesting to me how, in society now, it almost seems like there's more anxiety, even outside of the criminal world. There's more anxiety. There's more stress. There's all these things, and if you do any looking in their history, it's probably been like that from early on. Even like with my generation, I'm 45, but even back in my early generation, where we started getting on computers more, started getting on these games more and things like that, and taking us out of nature and taking us out of a place of community, if you will. It almost seems like it's exacerbated the anxieties and the stress of daily life for a lot of folks.
You're absolutely right. And the last couple of years really has compounded that.
Yeah.
I see people at their very worst. Some people. I've always commented on the things that people do to one another.
Yeah.
The things that people say to one another. The things the untruth that they would spill out and everything without a moment's notice.
Yeah.
And everything. And it is just so mind-boggling that people would spend that much time on doing bad stuff than trying to do good things.
Right. Well, and I would even hope that more. I don't know how many sponsors you got for this pilot here, but so this is actually the second one.
Yeah, second week. Yeah.
This is the second week. So this was a 2-week. Okay, so this was a 2-week process.
Right.
And so you guys had some sponsors jump in behind you locally?
Yeah, we did. There were some sponsors that jumped in. We had Newton County Sheriff's Office.
Yeah.
Up on top, which we're hosting the event. We found the venue and providing certain things, but the juvenile probation folks are the ones who do the paperwork. All my applications was turned into them.
Sure.
We opened this up to the public like it is today and everything. So a lot of folks have showed up and brought their little younger kids and everything, and that's fine and everything. But you have to be there to watch them.
Yeah.
Like right now, today, I'm acting as a team leader. I can do that, and everything, because we have some volunteers that had some unfortunate things that happened in their families that couldn't be here, so I'm always there.
Sure.
Everything. So, and I get a great joy out of helping others, and especially trying to direct these kids. And one of the kids in my group, he already knew me from the neighborhood.
Sure.
And that's a positive and everything. And I try to spend as much time as I can out there trying to talk to the youth or anyone who listens to me.
Yeah, right.
Because it's just that I feel Newton County has not had a fair shake going forward on things that people say about Newton and everything,
Yeah.
which is terribly misinformation and say about one another.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, in my business, just because you say it don't mean it's true.
Right. That's exactly
You know,
right. Yeah.
and we tell people all the time, we can't do due process and put a case together by just your word. We have to have a collaboration on that. And you're going to sign a statement and say this is what happened and everything. So it is not like on TV. It takes a lot of hard work, and we do a lot of hard work.
Yeah, that CSI response to DNA testing doesn't come back in 30 minutes.
Oh, no, that's not the case.
Right.
And it is kind of funny that, you know, I've been in this profession for over 30 years.
Right.
Just the law enforcement side of it. And I was in the military too.
Okay.
For 20 years.
Okay.
So I'm very well exposed to a lot of different things, in a lot of different places,
Right.
in a lot of different situations.
Right.
Some of which I probably even forgot.
Right.
But anyway,
Yeah.
make a long story short, is that I'm learning. I've been there, done that. Human nature, human behavior, those things that I've been through, experienced,
Right.
and everything. And at this point in my life, I have no time for a lot of BS and everything. I signed up to get this, to do better for Newton, to leave it better than it found it, and everything, but I can't do it alone.
Right.
If I could have the positive energy going for us, Newton County, and when I say us, man, we'll be a lot further along.
Yeah.
And we need that.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I open up programs to volunteer to come be a part of us, to see how we do things from the inside out and everything. And we got a decent response.
Yeah.
But we should have had a majority response on things.
Right.
And that way you can't sit up and say, hey, I wonder why they're doing this.
Yeah.
You know, they should be doing this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, when you find out, when you get closer, when you come to the issue, you come to the table, you see it's not that easy.
Yeah.
We only get one bite of the apple when you're talking about due process and criminal law and everything. And if you don't dot your I's and cross your T's, you don't have anything.
Right.
What you have, you're going to lose it.
Yeah.
So we have to be very methodical. A lot of folks say we're too slow. Well, you know, the process is slow. It always have and always will be.
Yeah.
You know, we get lucky sometimes, but not all the time. Not enough times.
Right.
So,
So really, I mean, in essence, you know, starting to help out on this end of the spectrum, it's almost like you're starting on the kid level, on the child level, and hopefully in that way being able to kind of energize a better community, if you will, by working on these kids and making sure that these kids have access to the tools they need so they don't grow up and go the wrong path, right?
Right.
And so, you know, it's kind of a double whammy. You're working on the adults and you're trying to work on the kids as well.
Yeah, we're trying to build stakeholders on both ends of the spectrum.
Right.
And everything. We're trying to get that community feel. We're trying to, because everyone always talk about go to school, come back, help out.
Right.
Well, I'm trying to get them to be stakeholders in the beginning, and on the adult side of it, trying to get buy-in.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
absolutely.
And if you look at that at the end of the day, you know what you'll have? A community with a lot of stakeholders.
Right.
And that's what we're working on. Because you know what? The problems we face are our problems. No one is going to come in out of the county or anywhere and solve our problem. We have to solve our problem.
Sure.
We have to make sure that we don't become part of the problem.
Yeah. And I mean, you know, it goes back to being, you know, it's easy for people to get so detached these days. I mean, even with COVID was just another fracturing or a breaking, if you will, of that detachment with each other and the community. Because I mean, it's easy. What I'm saying is, it's easy for us to remove our investment in our community. And as people, just because technology's here, people's lives are busy, all these other things are going on, and it's almost like we're having to to dial it back to the 40s and 50s to where people were actually invested in their communities. I say the 40s and 50s, maybe, that's just a time frame where I wasn't living. So it seems like people,
I wasn't living in all the 50s. And I know exactly what you're talking about because, that was a simple time.
Yeah.
Life was pretty simple, pretty basic, and everything. And the values was a lot more prevalent than they are today.
Right.
And we didn't have the choices that we have today. We didn't have the individual freedoms per se when it comes to certain things.
Right.
Because we was more or less driven by our parents on their values, and we sort of duplicated them to a certain extent. Yes, it was a very fine time, but what we have, the basics doesn't change.
Yeah.
You still want to treat people like you want to be treated.
Right.
You still want a decent living for your family. You want your kids and your families to be safe.
Yeah.
Those things. You want to have enough money to live well and not be a burden on anyone else. And those things will never change.
Sure.
And everything. And work for what you get and don't. And that kind of like the old cowboy code, don't take no more than you need.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's right. That's exactly right. Yeah.
So
those are all good principles, man. And I mean, hopefully we all kind of get. I don't ever see a day where we go backwards and social media goes away unless something catastrophic happens.
Right.
And potentially may. I mean, we go through hurricanes around here sometimes, and so potentially there are these little windows. But what I think is interesting is how even the underbelly, when all hell's breaking loose and the hurricane has just come through and we've got trees down and everything's down, it's almost like the community just has a natural instinct to pull back together. And it's almost like, is there any way that we can fabricate?
Why can't we have that before there's a disaster?
Before there's a disaster.
And you're absolutely right. Same thing, not really the same thing. But I have been to a lot of law enforcement firemen's funerals.
Right.
And it pains me deeply on that. And a lot of them I did not know personally. A lot of them I did know.
Right.
But the outpouring of support and the way the public reacts to that, we see that as living folks.
Yeah.
But that officer or that fireman did not see that.
Right.
They would never see that.
Yeah.
And it's like such a loss.
Sure.
And why should we always have to wait till something bad to happen before we become brothers and sisters?
That's exactly right.
Stakeholders.
Yeah.
And everything. Have that common cause. Because, like I just said, we all want the same thing.
Right.
We all want the same thing.
Yeah. Sure. Absolutely. So with this pilot program, are you looking for next summer, as being kind of the next step in the process? Oh,
no, I don't. I had a guy that worked for me. He told me I didn't have a weight gene in my body. So I don't wait on anything. So with that said, there's a couple things that I'm thinking about doing. Like I was telling you about the sponsorship of a program of kids that might need that.
Yeah.
But we can't wait till next summer.
Yeah.
And we're sponsored those, find a place for them.
Yeah, you did it with 9 or 10 months between point to point. So.
Right. Absolutely. So I got a plan that I plan to put into action, and working with the juvenile probation folks.
Sure.
Because we're all trying to prevent.
Right.
We're trying to prevent. We're not. Although a part of our jobs, my job is to detect and apprehend and everything. But if I can prevent something from happening, I certainly will do that.
Yeah. So I'd be completely remiss if I didn't bring up the current situation happening here in the community of Newton. I say the current, the most recent. Obviously, there is the talk about, the city council had on the agenda to disband the police department here, et cetera, et cetera. And, you know, obviously with us talking about bringing the community together and trying to bring people to their better selves, right? The narrative that's been presented out here is that you were directly involved with a meeting that led to that option being put on an agenda. And my question is, and I know you've responded to a couple other media sources, but what is what's your take on that narrative?
Oh, again, there's a lot of misinformation out there, and I'm not gonna go back into that.
Okay.
Period. Because as you see, I have enough on my plate that I'm trying to do and complete and everything.
So your objective is not to go after the police chief?
My objective is to go after crooks.
Crooks.
You know?
Okay. Easy enough. So I'm assuming that you guys will use your social media platform far as getting out information on the events that you've got coming up between here and there, right? Between here and next year with your camp.
Oh yeah. We have much. I think we only had about 2 months this time. So we have enough time to get on to get the information out.
Okay.
And what I'm trying to do, I find that there's just no one good area to reach folks when it comes to getting the word out.
Yeah.
As much as I try and request folks to let us know what's going on in their neighborhoods or their communities, to let us know, we're still finding out a day late and a dollar short and everything. And then folks get mad at us. Well, why ain't the sheriff's office there? Well, we didn't know.
Yeah.
You know.
You got to know.
Yeah, we don't have the planning. We don't have the planning. We don't have a lot of resources when it comes to manpower, the numbers, that is. And so that's why proper planning is a must.
Okay.
And everything. So you can only cover so much with so much.
That's right. That's exactly right. Sheriff, I appreciate you taking time with us, man. Good luck with the equine camp and the endeavor with the pilot program. You know, once again, I think this is a good endeavor for sponsorship, for companies to get in behind, people to get in behind. I mean, honestly, if there are businesses out there or people out there who want to put some money up or some resources up or something like this, like you said, the church, you know, one of the churches here is taking care of the food and that type of thing. If there are folks out there who want to kind of partner up with the sheriff's office, how do they go about doing that?
They can call us. We have.
Don't call 911.
No, unless you need it. Unless you need to.
Right.
409-379-3636, and certainly we invite people to come part of our programs and everything to help out.
So even from a volunteer basis.
Yeah, volunteerism is a must here and everything, and I applaud all of those volunteers who spend their time and donate their time in various areas around the county and this region as well. Because if we didn't have that, we wouldn't have we'd have less than what we have.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Well, sounds good, man. Sheriff, once again, I appreciate you taking time to sit down with us in the middle of your horse camp here, and good luck in the process.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Jay. Thank you, and have a blessed day.
All right.